Welcome in. We're gonna try today a little bit of a little live commentary type of deal, because the other ones I've been doing, I guess voiceover. Oh, yeah, that's what it's called. I think this will be more organic, because I guess it doesn't really matter that much, but anyway, at least with those I could restart or something, but this one I'll have to edit it down, which might be a little different. But what we're doing right now today is playing some Risk of Rain. It's Rain 2. I haven't played the Simulacrum. It's a wave-based mode in a hot minute. As you can see, my high score on Drizzle was 94. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the engineer. Kind of a no-brain kind of gameplay, but I'm a fan. We'll see. We've got monster items on monster deaths. I like the invader doppelganger. Doesn't really do much. Just gonna and then double monster spawns. Not a huge fan of any of these other things, or like the command, but these ones are fun. I think the other ones have some value, but anyway. There we go. I'm gonna play on Monsoon, which is the harder difficulty. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Pop my turrets down. And topic I think I'm gonna go for today is probably trust. I was kind of considering trust the past few days, because especially when it comes to our relationship, which I've only just recently gotten into a relationship, I've oftentimes been very lack on caring about relationships. Like, to me, it's always just kind of been something if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, I don't really care. I can't bother enough. Because usually I don't have enough energy as is. Because usually I just sleep and work and call it good. But what's this guy doing? My clone. And so coming with a relationship, it's kind of hard to trust someone new. Especially when I've often, I don't really trust people as is. Like, I was a manager at work, and I could barely trust employees. Not to say I didn't trust the employees, because a lot of people were good people, but I don't know. It's just kind of hard for me to trust people, because I have to constantly, family, friends, anything like that. It's always something. There's always something, which is what bothers me. Like, oh my gosh. It just kind of always feels like there's some reason someone's gonna let me down or break my trust, and I think that's oftentimes what puts me in a bad place, because I don't know, I'm sure there's some trauma growing up that's, influenced that. But I don't know, so the idea that's the reason this topic was spurred on was because with this relationship, I've kind of noticed that I don't even trust talking to my girlfriend about even just my feelings, which is a thing of its own, I think, in a way, but it's always just strange to me, because in the terms of men, we're often not just taught, but reinforced to not really express our thoughts and emotions and to bottle them up, throw them away. And I mean, it's not good for us. It's not good for anyone. And it's just kind of rough that it's like thinking about the effect that's had on me and the effects it's had on, I mean, my friends and, you know, even my family. Like, it's unfair to expect of someone, I would think. And yet it still happens. And I don't know, it's always just strange to me to think that, like, when I think of a relationship, like, you're supposed to trust each other, like, whole through and through. At least that's like my idealism of it, you know? And obviously that's not true, it just doesn't happen. But, you know, idealism. And obviously there's a level of, like, relationships, like perfect relationships don't just happen. You have to make them happen. Which I understand. Oh, what's going on? We're moving. So my point is that, like, I find that in my relationship, I don't really, because it's that kind of thing where it's like, it's kind of been memed about nowadays, which kind of sucks, but I guess it kind of raises awareness in a way. But how, you know, the girl is like, the girl in a relationship is like, oh, I'm so overstimulated, I'm hungry, blah blah blah, I'm sorry I was mean to you, I was just hungry, this or that. And it's, to me, that's kind of unacceptable. It's kind of a pet peeve. And obviously that's kind of something I, you know, should talk to my girlfriend about, because it's kind of unfair to kind of harbor that and, you know, not really express it. But I don't know, it's just kind of strange, because I guess that's kind of like the male form of, like, expecting like the other person to read our mind. Because it's like, you know, with women, there's always that thing of like, oh, guys are, you know, you should just know when I'm hungry, or, you know, you should just know, you know, this or that. And it's really just unfair. Like, I'm sure anyone who knows what I'm talking about kind of understands. And I think I've had a lot of that in my life, which kind of feeds into that level of lack of trusting ability, which also kind of feeds into another topic I have written down, because I have a few topics written down, and I just kind of picked one depending on how I'm feeling. And that's the feeling of love. And I think I've touched on the topic in another video, but it's one of those things to me that kind of sucks, because it's like, I would define love as like a feeling, an ideal, and a thought, I guess. So to I can't think of the word. To explain on that more, as a thought, you know, like, oh, of course I love this person, you know, I wouldn't want to be with anyone else. I I'm happy with her. I'm happy where I'm at. You know what I mean? So there's no other thoughts of wanting anyone else or cheating or anything like that. Which is, I guess, probably another topic that can be divulged. I think that's what I was thinking. And that's in like cheating and that kind of stuff. Because to me, I think cheating is kind of a result of unhappiness in a relationship, because there is no reason to cheat on your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, if you're happy where you're at. Like if someone like wants, I don't think I got what I wanted out of it. Like if someone wants more sex, for example, then that should be like expressed, you know what I mean? Like if someone isn't happy with their sex life or wants to experience more, that should be expressed. And then, you know, they can cooperate. Because it's like, someone's never going to master something without experience. And you can't familiarize with yourself with someone without experience. So it's like, if you grow so old with someone, and then you find out that you're bored with them, like, oh, I might die. You'd probably be like, of course you're gonna grow bored, because, you know, if you're already so familiar with someone and you already know everything about that person, then there's nothing more. And then you might grow bored. But, oh my god. These turrets are crazy. There we go. You might grow bored. You know, you might want more. You might, like, there's a lot that could go into something like that. And when you settle for, you know, what you have, of course you're gonna get bored, because people aren't meant, like, humans aren't meant for stagnancy. We're hunter-gatherers. We're meant to roam. We're meant to, you know, whatever. Like, stability is comforting, which is nice, and it's good, you know, having a home base, having this or that. But once you settle for just having a home base, then, you know, then it's over. Like, then you have nothing else. And it's the same thing with love. It's the same thing with trust. I mean, it's everything. And it's kind of interesting to me, because when you look at it that way, like, how can you be happy? In my opinion, I guess. Maybe it's just a me thing, but how can you be happy? Or maybe you can be happy with things, but maybe there's a better word, maybe contentment. Maybe, I'm not sure. There's better words for things that I can't exactly think of, but point is, like, once you like stop trying for more, then you're gonna stop getting more out of it. And I don't think people really realize that, because when it's like a matter of happiness in a relationship, for example, it's like, sure, you can settle down, you can go settle down, have kids, get married, this or that, then what? You know, and to me, that's often something that's always plagued me, because in that same then what attitude, it's like you're bound to, you know, disappoint yourself, I feel. Because once you get to that point, then you don't think about the present, you think about the future, which isn't good for anyone. But I'm not sure, maybe mild planning is what keeps things interesting in the present. And I'm sure there's other people who have, you know, they have things figured out, unlike me, but, you know, like, if you wanted to, you know, go to space like me, and then you're limited to just flying a plane, like, that might be some form of accomplishment, but you're not going to space, you know, you're only hitting the lower atmosphere. And it might be cool, it might be nice, but you're just settling for not the best. And I'm sure that kind of philosophy is kind of dangerous, because if you think about, you know, settling for not the best, then, you know, you might end up always searching for the best and never really getting anything, which in terms of a relationship, that's kind of something that's like, if you have to build that relationship, which is, I think, what I was saying, but when I'm kind of repeating myself, so my point with trust, or rather where I'm getting the idea for this point, is me and my girlfriend, we're going out and we do stuff, and I think I get, because I do have autism, I do have that fault in my brain, and it bugs me that I have it, and I try to pretend like I don't, and oftentimes I think that puts me at fault. Oh, I don't have my other. It puts me at fault because I try to pretend that I'm not experiencing the things that I am, which isn't fair. I don't think it's fair to myself or my girlfriend. And I don't think it's fair to anyone, I guess, because you could say the same thing about not fair to your family, not fair to this person or that, but where is this last enemy? Right here. I hate these little turret guys, because, like, they just sit here and not do anything, you know, whatever. I gotta look at another one of those. Oh, we're moving. So yeah, we would go out and do stuff, and it's nice, don't get me wrong, I like going out, I love doing things, I love having fun, you know, I mean, who doesn't? But it just bothers me when we go out to do something, and, you know, one of my pet peeves is when one person ruins another person's experience, whether they're, like, it's even worse when it's a friend of, like, this person, and they're complete strangers, it's not my business, but, like, if you go to a movie theater and the person in front of you is standing up, screaming and hollering because they're excited, and for them, they're having the time of their life, they're enjoying themselves, and they're shameless about it, which is, I mean, good for them, I guess. But to me, that's like completely selfish, and it ruins everyone else's experience, and it's horrible. And where are we going? Yeah, we're up here. Okay. It's just horrible. And when I see other people do that, it gets on my nerves. And then I get like just frustrated, having to listen to this, having to watch it, and then I have that emotion going, and then then it starts getting loud, and then that kind of triggers another sense of like overwhelm, and then it's just this and that, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I'm pretending that I'm not overwhelmed, and to a degree it's a trauma response. When your parents yell at each other, they yell at you, and you don't understand why, and you just want them to be quiet and stop yelling. And it's kind of a peculiar idea to me, because I could do it, but I liked my clone. Ouchie. That hurts. There we go. Battle of the turrets over here. Can I... They are just not dying over there. They did? Okay. So, yeah. Oh, it's because these guys aren't dead. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it's just an interesting idea to me, because I often, I don't know if it's a common experience for normal quote-unquote people, because I often wonder how normal quote-unquote people think about things like this, because obviously you have therapists and psychologists and all them who, I mean, it's kind of their job. And I don't think I would be very good at it. I'm not very good at helping other people, but the idea of psychology itself is interesting. And I guess there's nothing wrong with being intrigued by a field of science. What the heck was that? But I think it's always bothered me because I've always wanted to understand myself and, learn myself better. And a lot of other people just don't. And they're selfish. They just exist. Some might say, they're very NPC energy kind of people, and it's kind of true. But I don't think that was good. What? I don't know. I totally forgot my train of thought, so I'm just gonna move on. But speaking of like movie theater deal, me and my girlfriend and her friend, we went to a circus, which is kind of cool. I actually thought it was really cool, pretty neato. And aside from, you know, kind of being overstimulated by all the loud and all that stuff going on, I found myself really enjoying it. But it bothered me because they were taking all sorts of pictures together and taking pictures of all, you know, all the stuff, and they kind of left me out. And I didn't trust them enough to be able to express that, like, desire to want to be included. And obviously it's unfair because, you know, I can't just be sour and, you know, do nothing about it. And at least that's my philosophy on that kind of thing. And it's just tough because of the things I think I've gone through. Especially being, you know, who I am, I've kind of got a, you know, a resting bitch face, and I can admit it. And I've tried, like, legitimately, like, tried to fix it, and I still try to this day. Like, if I'm preparing to, you know, go into work or anything, and because I used to work in customer service stuff like Domino's, and you know, I tried to be, you know, cool, and, you know, I was a manager, and I wanted to make sure everyone was having a good time and was happy and all, and was happy with their products. And oh, little box, sure. So I would usually just, like, practice smiling, which when I've told people that, they think it's interesting for, you know, whatever reason, be it like peculiar or actual intrigue. But to me, when I'm comfortable, I don't have to, like, pretend to smile. I don't have to, you know, I don't have to, like, force myself to show emotion, which is actually, now I think about, something I should talk to my girlfriend about, because she often gets concerned that, like, I'm not okay, but I'm actually just, like, relaxed, or, like, I'm having a good time or something, and I'm not really worried about, excuse me, like, I don't really worry about, you know, trying to show emotion and do this or that, because, I mean, there's no point if it's, like, if I'm comfortable. Like, if I'm at home alone, then, you know, like, what's the point of showing emotion, you know? Like, I'm not showing emotion for anyone else. Like, if I'm online, you know, playing games with friends, whatever, it's like, yeah. But even then, like, I don't have to smile and, you know, be emotive. I just, you know, if I smile, they can hear it, and it's good for them. Excuse me. Remember to hydrate. Drink your water. You know, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to be someone you're not. And I think that's the nice thing about playing games with friends, because I don't have to look them in the face. I don't have to, you know, like, show that I'm having a good time. And if I'm not having a good time, then it's like, I can just be like, alright, I'm done playing. Or whatever. And some people do have difficulty with just saying, like, that they're done playing, which I kind of feel bad about, because I definitely experience that on times, but you know, when it's a matter of enjoying what I'm doing and you know, a matter of like enjoying what I'm doing and you know, not enjoying it, then you know, why wouldn't I just be like, hey, I'm not really having fun with this, I think I'm gonna go play something else. You know, if I want, sometimes I'll do that and my social battery is just drained, but I actually did have a good time playing. Other times it's, you know, just genuine, you know, exhaustion. It could be normal exhaustion or social exhaustion, what have you, but same old, same old. What is this for you? Oh, okay. Yeah, reduce the damage. But yeah, so if there's anything I could say for anyone out there who maybe hasn't figured out how to say they're not having a good time, honestly, what I started doing in middle school, obviously it's kind of a toxic trait and you should communicate with whoever it is, but just leave. And if they're worried about you, then they'll probably ask what's up, and you can just tell them like, oh, I just wasn't having fun or whatever. And you know, if they're good friends or whatever, or good, you know, partners, they'll ask and be like, they'll take that as like a sign of like, oh, maybe they, you know, I should be more careful about, you know, if they're actually enjoying their time or not, or care more about if they're actually, you know, having fun. And if they don't really care, then maybe they're not that good of a friend. You know, I mean, like, I kind of get it with like friends, like me and my friends. It's like sometimes it's like a matter of, oh, excuse me. It's kind of a matter of like, if we're having fun, then we don't really care about asking if we're having fun, you know? Or if we just kind of up and leave, then it's kind of like, oh, guess we just went and, you know, I guess they were done for today, or maybe their internet went out, or this or that, or whatever, you know. But a lot of the times it's like, because I worry about it when I just leave. I still do it sometimes, and I just kind of leave, and I worry my friends just don't care, and it's kind of a toxic reaffirming desire. But you know, it's like when you haven't heard from a friend for a while and you're like, do they even like care? Do they even want to talk to me? Do they even remember me? And I mean, quite honestly, it's because friendships, relationships, you know, whatever, it goes both ways. Like you can't expect someone, forgive me please, what does this do? If I didn't pick up like 20 items. Almost there. Come on. No, that's not it. That's not it either. Pretty sure it like curses an enemy or something. No. No, that's not it either. Throw a crystal that repeatedly triggers your on-kill effects. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was wrong. so I'm glad I was looking for it. Oh my gosh. Everything is just dying. What was I saying? I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, I mean, obviously you shouldn't just flake on your friends and, you know, up and leave. Especially if you're like, if you're the one that was driving people around or something, then kind of messed up. But everyone has different philosophies and what have you. So I guess, you know, your business is your own. But I enjoy driving people around. So if I just up and left, I definitely feel like a terrible person. And probably because I am in that case. Especially if I was like a designated driver or, you know, whatever. Usually I'm not. I don't really drink too much, and nor do my girlfriend or I. Or redundancy in my sentences. I don't know. It's usually one of those things to me that I kind of find interesting that some people like take pride in their selfishness. Like, I say you'd be a terrible person if you were a designated driver for people and then just you're bored, so you up and left and then just left them there like stranded. And some people just don't care, for sure, and they'll be like, nah, if I'm bored, I'm just gonna leave because you know, I'm gonna prioritize myself, and it's, you know, something or other. But I mean, if that's the, you know, how they are, it's not much I can do about it. But I suppose that is the difference between a good person and a bad person, is whether they care enough to treat you the same they want to be treated. And I guess some people, you know, to them, they don't care. Like, if they would expect if someone else wasn't having a good time, they would just leave as they would. But it's when people are hypocrites, and then we'll get upset when people do leave. That's the head scratcher. But I don't know. Anyway, I guess we can move on to a different topic, just cause usually I try to. I'd like to keep my videos around 40 minutes, but I mean, we'll see how long this goes. It's looking pretty easy so far, and you know, now I'm to the point where everything is instant dying or whatever. So I'm sure I'll probably get to the point where I'll just instantly get killed by something, and that'll be the end of the run. But we'll have to get there. I'm pretty tanky, pretty healthy. Ooh, I like the roller quest. I haven't really tried this yet. Oh, it's like a repeated effect. That's crazy. So yeah, another topic is, I guess, kind of in the same line of that kind of emotion stuff. I've often considered, you know, whether I'm enough, whether I'm doing enough, and oftentimes for other people, you know, what I do is enough. And I am enough for them. But to me, I can never be enough or do enough. You know, I have these big dreams of being an astronaut, being an accomplished writer, being not necessarily famous, because I don't think I'd like to be famous. Because then, you know, every little thing you say, everything is scrutinized, and then you become, you know, so famous, and then your life is miserable because, you know, you can't walk outside or go shopping without someone recognizing you, and then you're just, you end up becoming more than yourself. And I think like a lot of my role modeling for like this channel, for example, comes from the backlogs. That's his channel name. He goes by Lemon, and the very little information you know, I've kind of gathered on him is that he works with mental health and in his real life, and his online gaming personality is secondary. It's a hobby, and I think it's good. I'm sure he'd probably make some good, I don't even know if he monetizes it actually, but I'm sure if he does, he makes some good money off of it. He's not big, he's not like PewDiePie or anything, but you know, he's got some good subscriber levels, and you know, he's got a really good community, and I don't know, to me it's one of those things that's like, the way he treats people, like, it's hard for me to be inclusive because a lot of the times, if I don't want to like deal with like something, then I just, oh, I did. I don't think I have a reload. No, I don't. Well, I guess that kind of puts it in, like I said, around the 40-minute mark. I'll just jump into a little game real quick just to finish out my thoughts here, but you know, he's one of the role models I have, and I think it's good. I went really far. That, you know, people like him exist, and I want to be like him. You know, not like him, but you know, I want to give people a place where they can relax. And you know, if you're here, I hope I do that for you. I hope I give you some thoughts, and I can help you appreciate things a little more, maybe. I'm probably about to die right here. I'm not very good at this character, that's why I chose them. There we go. So yeah, I don't think I really finished out that idea, that thought I was talking about, but regardless, I hope you, I hope you that are listening specifically, I hope you have a good day, good night. I hope today, later today, the rest of today or tomorrow, I hope it treats you well. Because I know I would wish the same I would hope people would wish the same for me. So yeah, time for me to edit this down, and I don't know if I'll edit it too much. Maybe some silences, but yeah. Have a good one.